On today's episode of the Mark Titus Show, almost every team in Division I has now played a game. I think we're down to 4 who have not. I will give you $10 million, Tate, if you can name all 4 teams that have not played yet in Division I. And also, I should preface this, and anybody who listens to the show has figured it out by now, there's a pretty good chance that I fucked this list up. But I did, based on my research last night, I was like, I think every team's played, and then I looked, and there were 4 who have not.
Well, we do have the list in front of us.
I have all 3.
My first choice, Texas A&M.
Wrong. It is Hawaii, you stupid fucking bitch. It is Hawaii, Youngstown State, Merrimack, and Fresno State. It was pretty obvious. Not a ball knower. That's all right. Those 4 have not played, but every other team in Division I has. 360 of them have. And with that, I have seen enough to officially debut the first fraud power rankings of the 2024-2025 season. We will be doing that today. Kyle Neptune, perhaps, might make an appearance. Can I interest you in Villanova's head coach being on the fraud power rankings? Villanova losing at home to Columbia by 10 in a hot seat season for Kyle Neptune. Year 3, I believe it is for him. It feels like year 8 for him because the second he took over, there were question marks about whether he was the right man for the job. Jay Wright kind of found his guy, and this is not uncommon. We're seeing it at Virginia right now with Tony Bennett and Ron Sanchez, and we're seeing it in North Carolina with Hubert Davis. That was Roy Williams' guy. Legends step aside. Their guy takes over. The fans are like, I'll buy into it just because, if the legend coach is telling me that this is the guy, then this is our guy. We'll ride with him. I don't think the fan base is riding with Kyle Neptune anymore, and we're only 2 games into the Villanova season. Speaking of Roy Williams, Hubert Davis, did North Carolina, are they going to make because that game against Elon, pretty fraudulent. A lot of fraud vibes. I will say, late run, maybe it was enough. The late run, they pull away late. Is that enough to keep them off the fraud power rankings? We shall see. But I'm excited. We have our first fraud power rankings of the season. We're going to go through that. Also, Tate has introduced this idea into my head of crossing off national title teams, which you started with. You're doing this with Ohio State football.
Yeah. College football, can you win the national championship? Once I determine you can't, I cross them off, and we don't do whiteout.
Yeah, and then I was yesterday, me, you, and Liam Blutman were just sitting around and talking, and then Blutman just out of nowhere was like, Titus, I think you can cross Wagner off. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, off the national title. I think you can cross him off the national. And I was like, what? And he's like, no, he didn't even say that.
You're missing one key part.
Yeah, he goes, Titus, I think any team that gives up a 20-0 run, you should cross them off.
And we're racking our brains.
Yeah.
Like, did Baylor give up a
I said something about
run?
I didn't watch a ton of the Creighton game. I know Kalkbrenner was awesome, but Creighton had a way closer game with Rio Grande, Texas Rio Grande, than I think they anticipated. So I was like, man, did I miss? Like, did Creighton give up a 20-0 run at some point?
He's like, no.
Because I thought Liam was saying, like, despite Creighton winning and Kalkbrenner looking awesome, we might have to cross them off because they did give up a 20-0 run. So I'm like, what team gave up a 20-0 run that he's talking about? And he's like, Wagner against Rutgers. And I was like, what?
And he said, Titus, you can use this one.
You could use this one.
You don't have to credit me.
And you know what? And I mocked him to his face, and then here we are. I'm going to use it because I was like, yeah, it's not the worst idea. So I'm going to need you to walk me through because I got to be honest. The second the idea was introduced to me of crossing off teams that can't win the national title, I was like, I'm immediately of the 364. I might cross off 350. I might just.
Well, that's why there's rules.
I know. That's why I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But we're gonna do that after we do fraud power rankings. Yeah, I'm excited. We're back in it, man. This is what I do best. Calling like 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds frauds. One game into the season it's just like in my DNA, man. Nobody does it better than me when it comes to this. So I'm in my element. I'm so excited to get the fraud power rankings rolling. Let's get into it. All right, fraud power rankings coming up. I'm trying to think of games of note we should hit before we get to that. I think night 1 we had obviously the Ohio State Texas and Baylor Gonzaga were marquee games. We talked about those. Since then, the election kind of ruined the night of college basketball in the sense that there just wasn't a ton of great games going on then. Last night, Thursday night, I think Florida was like the only ranked team that played. a lot of the other ranked teams, like I said, everybody's got their first game in. So I think like the two that I watched were Rutgers against Wagner because I wanted to see Dylan Harper, and Ace Bailey didn't play in that game, but I wanted to see Dylan Harper's debut. And then I watched Indiana and SIU Edwardsville just because my dad texts me constantly about Indiana basketball, so I got to keep up on the Hoosiers just because
with Thanksgiving coming up.
But my dad texts me just like no context Indiana text. Like,
so you have to be ready.
I have to like watch so I know what he's talking about because he'll just put like Woody in all caps with like eyeball emojis, and I'm like, I by the way, I hope that was an Indiana basketball text. When you get a text from your senior citizen father, just says Woody with eyes, I'm like,
thank God Mike Woodson.
Like, Dad, did you mean to send that to me? But no, he'll send me texts like that where I'm like, if I'm not watching the game, I'm like, what is he talking about? Is this like is Indiana playing well? Or are they not playing well? Like, what's going on here? So, I got to keep an eye on the Hoosiers so I can talk to my father. But those were the two that I watched. Arkansas, I was monitoring. We'll put it that way.
I watched Arkansas.
You watched Arkansas?
Yeah. So I got some takes on that.
I'll start with Rutgers. TJ is obviously a Rutgers guy. You have to be thrilled with what you saw from Rutgers, right?
Yeah, I think we kind of expected Dylan Harper to be good. When you're 5-star and you're top recruit in the country, you're supposed to be good. But 20-0 run is awesome, and the rest of the team look great. Lathan Somerville probably should be the starting.
That was my one though. Was Somerville, the kid off the bench?
Yeah,
I'm finding that I love this freshman class so much because I know about the guys at the top.
Yeah.
But then you go to watch the guys at the top, and it's the other freshmen that stand.
Right.
Like, not that Dylan Harper was bad, but it's just like I was watching the game for Dylan Harper, and I walked away just being like, "Who's this Somerville kid?"
Right.
The whole they go on a 20-0 run against Wagner, who's not good. Wagner's not good, so it's not like I'm not trying to crown Rutgers right now, but at the same time, they go on they're starting a little slow, and then they bring Somerville, this freshman off the bench, and he's fucking awesome.
Yeah, he kind of went under the radar because he's the third guy in the class, but like his high school tape is awesome. Like he bodies people around. He lost a ton of weight over the summer, and he's gonna be sick. I think.
Yeah, that
he should probably start now.
Yeah, I completely agree. That happened with Knipple at Duke. Obviously, I was like, I want to watch Cooper Flagg. I'm like, wait a second, who's this kid? The right kid at Baylor. I was watching. I was locked in on Baylor. I'm like, I want to see what Edgecombe's all about. And then they got this other kid that's like getting downhill, getting to the rim. But yeah, Lathan Somerville. I'm excited about him, and I still think Ace Bailey's better than. Not that I'm trying to pit them against each other, but I'm trying to say, like, if I was a Rutgers fan, I'd be over the moon because Dylan Harper he's so smooth with it.
Yeah,
and I think Ace Bailey's better than him. So if that is in fact, if my read on it is correct, then good Lord, there's gonna be some talent on the floor in Piscataway.
Most points in a debut at Rutgers since they started letting freshmen play.
Which was 1976.
Phil Sears.
Now Ace Bailey gets his chance to do that.
TJ,
what's our update on that?
What if he breaks the?
They said day-to-day lower extremity
lower
injury.
Body.
Okay. They didn't have any. Which I mean,
like
as a Rutgers doomsdayer, I that could mean anything. That could mean he's out until January, but I guess we'll see. No update.
You're worried he's gonna just opt out of the season?
I mean,
that would be my fear. Which I just unlocked a new fear for you. Sorry.
Oh no.
How do you opt out?
He's just like, my ankle's a little sore, so I'm just gonna
declare for the draft.
I'm just gonna declare for the draft and opt out.
Lower body injury is the wallet in his pocket.
Weighing him down.
Yeah, but yeah, Rutgers did what they set out to do, and I thought Dylan Harper was awesome, and but Somerville, that was the one note I had on Rutgers when I was watching that. I was like, this kid's got to play more. He would start at center, right? I don't know what the rest of the pieces are. The kid from Princeton, Martini.
Zach Martini.
Is that his real name? Wears 99, big white dude, kind of like a pick and pop guy.
Yeah.
It seems. I like the idea of him. I gotta watch. I'll obviously watch more Rutgers and see how the rest of the pieces. But the freshman class seems as good as advertised. We haven't even seen Ace Bailey yet.
We talked obviously about the blue ribbon rankings and where they'd be in the Big Ten. Anything? Did you learn anything? Are you higher on them? Lower on them?
Not really. No, too soon to call. Too early to call the. There's only less than 1%. Yeah, well, less than 1% of precincts have reported right now, so it's too early.
And you see them without Ace Bailey, so
yeah,
you're gonna have to.
But
wait.
I think the talent's gonna be there, obviously. And yeah, Somerville does make it really interesting because I didn't even realize this guy existed, and he is very dynamic, and he's a third guy that like you just give the ball to and he can make stuff happen. And the fear with Rutgers going in as a guy who didn't didn't know a ton about them was that it was just going to be a two-headed monster, and you're relying on two like 18-year-olds or 17-year-olds, however old they are, and relying on them 40 games in a season to every single night bring it is, they're super talented, but like that's a tough ask. So to have like a third guy at least, and he's young too, but like at least to have other options where it's like, man, if we can just get one of these three guys to ball out, we're gonna have a chance. That's good. So yeah, I Rutgers again. Wagner sucks ass, but at the same time,
they did what they were supposed to do against.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. So that was cool. That was good of Wagner, or good of Rutgers. I mean, against Wagner. Indiana. The only note I have on Indiana against SIU Edwardsville, who's like SIU. I was, as I was watching the game, I was like, is SIU Edwardsville not bad? Not because like my focus is more on Indiana, but Edwardsville. If you would ask me when they became Division I would have said like 4 years ago. I think it was like 15 years ago at this point, but they haven't really. Last year they had a decent season, but I think like they might be finally turning a corner a little bit. I don't know. They had some players. They had some size, and obviously they didn't have Indiana size, but they. I walked away a little bit impressed. And they had dudes that were making plays out there, but Indiana. I feel like I'm going to be talking about Indiana's roster all season. Like I feel like they're obviously talented, but it just doesn't look like when they start the game with Mbako at the 3. Mbako had the game of his life. He was fucking awesome. He was their entire offense in the first
31 and 9, 4 of 5 from 3, 13 to 17 from the field.
But Renu and Ballo playing next to each other it just doesn't feel right. And I don't know. Like seeing them out, like the second they're tipping the ball off, I was just like, I don't know.
With what reason do you think that? So White Boy Rick's in the kitchen right now, and he was telling me that it's because NIL we're making promises. Is that why? Is that how we're making?
I think like as I was like Ballo wasn't bad, but I'm watching the game unfold, and I'm like, honestly, if they would have taken the money they gave to Umar Ballo and just dispersed it, maybe they get Liam McNeely to stay. I don't know what happened with McNeely's recruitment, but he was committed to Indiana, flips and goes to UConn. I don't know. I don't know if it was a money thing. I don't know if it was just like Dan Hurley put his national championship trophies on the table and was just like, here you go. And he's like, damn, good point.
Good
point. But yeah, Ballo's like not a bad player, and I think he's going to put up stats for them, and he's going to, he's a lot of people's preseason like third team All-American or whatever, and I don't think that's unjustified, but as I was watching, I was like, I don't think they really need him. That just feels like an unnecessary ad, but at the same time, he's talented. So I got to see more out of Indiana. I'm trusting Woody. Maybe I shouldn't. That eventually he's going to figure out lineups and they're going to tinker. And they do have. We've talked about this with other teams. I think the flexibility is there in the sense that like you have a deep-ish roster. Mm-hmm. Like you're bringing Trey Galloway off the bench, who's not the most talented guy in the world, but he's a guy who's like been a starter for you and has been like a core piece for you and all that, and like that's a good spot to be in. And the freshmen they like, and the Gabe Cupps I think is a good player. He only played like 5 minutes. Yeah, he's like playing the 10th guy. I think he's going to be a solid piece for them eventually. If he sticks around, he's probably going to transfer after the end of this year. So yeah, you look at like the roster and you're like, the pieces are there. It's just a matter of figuring out how they fit. And like you said, or White Boy Rick said, like, what are the NIL promises to where we have to start these guys, we have to play these guys a certain amount of minutes. And I am curious to see how it all fits together. Like Cannon Carlisle started for him, did not play well at all, but he was a big get in the transfer portal. And if he starts sucking, like, do you bench him? Can you bench him? I have no idea.
That's the number one question mark with this whole NIL thing is like, if you're going to pay these guys, if you're going to make these promises and then they don't deliver, what happens when they don't deliver?
It just, I'm not saying it's not going to work. I think all Indiana fans are in agreement with me, by the way. Like, I don't need to like pre-apologize to Indiana. I think they're all just like, we're thinking the same thing, but it's like they're almost like too big. They have too much size. Like Mbako feels like a perfect 4-man to me, and then you got to decide between Ballo or Renew as your 5.
And they played him all 28 minutes.
Yeah, and then throw another guard out there. And that to me feels like more modern basketball.
What do you say to the people? I saw a lot of Indiana fans saying same old Indiana. Like this is the exact same situation as last year. What do you would you agree?
I think my logic towards the point I've made about Kansas a handful of times, I'm going to make about Indiana, which is like, yeah, the vibes are the same and you're still questioning like where's the shooting going to come from and like you know, how do the pieces fit, and it feels the same, but I think what I said about Kansas is true of Indiana, that at least this year there is depth and there's flexibility where it's like if you do need shooting, you can bring in you can find your lineup of shooters, but they might not be your defensive lineup, and it might not be your run and gun lineup, and it might not be your grinded out lineup. Like I think they have iterations of what they might need on any given night, which makes me more optimistic. It's just ideally you have some jack of all trade types out there, and it feels like there's more like specialty guys that like fit in certain boxes, and then you got to like tinker to figure out how this is all going to work, if that makes any sense. So like I'm more optimistic because there's more depth, and it's not like fuck we're stuck with what we got.
Yeah, these are 5. That's
but yeah, there are certainly questions around Indiana, and funny enough, like talent isn't one of the questions. Like,
yeah, everyone across the board they say this team is talented enough to win the Big Ten.
But it's just like, how is it all going to come together, and how much trust is there in Woodson? Which is weird because like Woodson is like not a bad coach, but he might be a bad college coach. Like the one criticism that I don't want to defend Woodson too much, but like the one thing that I will definitely say is a fair criticism of him is he does at times feel like an NBA coach in the sense that he's just kind of willing to give up big runs, or like he won't call timeouts, or like he's like willing to throw games away, we'll say. Like and obviously he's not going into games trying to lose them, but he just seems to have like an attitude of like, there are 82 games this year. If we lose this random ass game, who cares? If it's a long season, I'll figure it out. And I think in that's what I've noticed.
Like that at Indiana.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed the first few seasons is like Woody kind of has like an NBA feel where it's just like, this is just a random Tuesday night and we're playing in Charlotte, like whatever, you know, like if we got, this is the second night of a back-to-back, like, you know, we've won 6 of our last 8. That's a good run. Like maybe this one doesn't matter as much. So hopefully he gets that out of his system and it's a little more. But like during the first half, like SIU Edwardsville's hanging around, and there were times where I was like, is Woody gonna motherfuck him? Is he gonna call timeout? What's he gonna? And he just kind of does like the stare where he's just like, are you fucking kidding? Like he does. He's very memeable, Mike Woodson. He does the.
My issue was so they start all this size, right? They play all this size and looks a little clunky. They got killed on the offensive glass.
Yeah.
What does that come down to? They got out rebounded the offensive glass 16-9.
Well, modern basketball is more jump shots and stuff, and I think like the idea of having big guys down there to grab the boards is not, you're getting longer rebounds.
Like it's in theory, but in practicality, it's like that's not having the size in the paint doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, it immediately stands out to you when you watch IU. You're like, I think they're too big. There's too much size, which is crazy, but that's where we're at with basketball.
So they're too big. They're too big to rebound.
They're too big to rebound. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, they might be too big to rebound. But I still, I still believe that there'll be something. I just don't know what that something is yet. But the talent is there, and Mbako was fucking awesome, and that's encouraging if you're an Indiana fan. Can Arkansas just not shoot? How many games into the season until we can hit the panic button on that? Because it's only been one game. But between the exhibition where they beat Kansas, the number 1 team in the country, and now against Lipscomb, I think this is going to be a problem for them all season.
Yeah, I'm torn because you cannot overreact over one game, especially because Lipscomb is projected to win their conference. Lipscomb is not a bad team. I think we'll see them play in the tournament.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm out on Arkansas.
You're out on Arkansas
I'm out on this. Well, I'm not out on them.
You're crossing them off?
No, I'm not crossing them off. Well, I'll tell you this. If you wanted me to say right now, can they win the national title? They can't. But I'm not going to cross them off that list. My point is.
Huh?
My point is.
Well, they can't win the national title right now. It's November. They don't play it till April.
It's the same old Coach Cal team, and I don't want to react after one game. But my point is, they rely on live ball turnovers. They rely on individual talent.
Yep.
They have no offensive creativity. They can't shoot the basketball, and it's give it to a guy. And the individual talent that they have is so strong compared to Lipscomb,
right?
Compared to some of the teams that they're going to win a lot of games, but they don't have Anthony Davis. They don't have John Wall. They don't have the people. They don't have the individual talent enough that's just going to run them through the tournament.
Right.
At some point, you're going to run into a team that's not going to live ball turnover into layups. That's going to make you play a half-court game. That's going to pack it in, make you shoot. You shot 4 of 19. I know it's just one game, but like you can just see how they are going to exit in the first weekend or in the second weekend of March Madness.
Or one game into the season.
And again, I'm not going to overreact.
No, it is an overreaction, but the reason it doesn't feel like an overreaction is because we've seen the same story play out with John Calipari forever now. That you can already forecast just based on the roster and based on how they go about playing what's to come. Just because we've seen this story, it's just now in a different jersey. It's just his players are wearing different jerseys.
Quite literally, exactly that. And I like their individual talent.
Yeah, but shooting's 4 for 19 from 3, dude. 4 for 19 from 3, and they didn't shoot the ball well against Kansas either. And again, it's only 2 games, and eventually you're gonna. But where's the shooting gonna come from? Big Z is. He looks like he knows what he's doing at the 3-point line, but he was 1 for 2 in this game. I like, is that what you want? You want your 7-footer to be the guy that you're going to turn to and be like, we need you to knock
a couple down, Big Z.
Knock down threes.
And I'm telling you, if you watch the beginning, it was way too close, and then the way it got broken open a little bit was turnovers in the backcourt into run-out layups. And that works against Lipscomb, but that doesn't work when a team makes you sit down.
John L. Davis, I guess, is theoretically a 3-point, but DJ Wagner and Boogie Flan aren't going to be able to shoot. Like, they're not going to.
He will shoot.
He'll shoot. He's not going to be able to make. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I like Boogie Flan a lot.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have monster games for them this season. And he's not going to be a guy that's going to knock down threes for him. So I'm with you that, like, I want to overreact so badly but also I'm not going to ever. This is going to be a perfect John Calipari team because all season I'm going to buy back in, and then I'm going to be like, fuck these guys, and then I'm going to buy back in, and then they're going to have a game where they're going to play like Alabama at some point.
They're going to run with them,
and they're going to run with Alabama just fine. They're not going to be able to shoot. If Alabama's hitting threes, they're going to be in trouble. But say Alabama's not making their shots, and it's just like an up and down game, and Boogie Flan's just getting to the rim at will. And
you're gonna buy.
And I'm gonna be like, oh my god, dude, they got the athletes, Arkansas, and then they're gonna play like a Tennessee that's gonna make them play half court offense, and they're gonna look like shit.
I mean, that's what it's gonna be.
And it's just gonna be up and down all year. Yeah, I'm not overreacting quite yet, but it is concern for Arkansas.
And Arkansas fans could very rightfully say right now, guys, we just took a team that's projected to win their conference. We beat them by 16.
By 16.
We covered. Shut up. It's been one game. You guys are looking. Your confirmation bias at its finest to say this is Coach Cal's team of too much talent, and they're not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, but like you said, you win by 16. You beat the number 1 team in the country in your exhibition game. Yeah. I mean,
maybe we are wrong.
If I'm an Arkansas fan, I'm not apologizing for a good start. But that is something I'm keeping my eye on, definitely, is the half-court offense and the shooting. The Mark Titus Show is brought to you by DraftKings. The NBA is officially back. A new season means new ways to get into the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Who's draining threes from beyond the arc? Who's crashing the boards and grabbing rebounds? Get behind your favorite players and the prop bets you can make on DraftKings, the home of NBA player props. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and place your bet. First time, new DraftKings customers, bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Take it to the rack with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Titus. That's code Titus, Titus, for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Enough of that. Let's get to the fraud power.
Yes. And you've kept these from me. I'm excited.
Yeah. I as is tradition, I'm the only one who knows what's going on in the fraud power rankings. It's a committee of one, and I do not have any leaks in the committee. So, you will not be getting any scoops. Nobody gets any scoops. The general public. If you don't hear from me, then it's not a real fraud power ranking. We'll just put it that way.
Would you? So if you or Woj, you'd leak. Has Woj ever scooped you? Sorry, we haven't talked about him in like 4
I should
shows.
like reach out to Rothstein and have him leak the fraud power.
like
rankings
hearing
for the
Baylor
week. Yeah,
might
I'm
be in
hearing Baylor at number 3 this week. All right, so we'll start with honorable mentions. My first honorable mention. So fraud power rankings are top 5. If you're new to the program, I do my top 5 fraud power rankings every week. So just missing the top 5 are the following. Kyle Neptune, surprisingly. And Kyle Neptune is
unranked?
Kyle Neptune is not ranked simply because Kyle Neptune is not a fraud. Kyle Neptune is doo-doo stinky pants just in general. Like, to be a fraud, there has to be an expectation that you're good, and then we find out you're actually a fraud.
So you're saying in your 1 to 5 rankings, he was so fraudulent that he's back to the unranked? He's not a fraud.
I'm saying he is who we thought he was.
Oh, okay.
And a fraud by definition is like
we thought
this, and as it turns out, you're not what you purported yourself to be.
Gotcha.
Kyle Neptune,
he's bad.
He was bad. He's been bad the last couple years. And this is a hot seed year for him.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 games into the season, he's losing at home to Columbia by 10.
Not
bad.
Good.
Yeah, I don't know if Jay Wright is available too. That's the part that makes it. That's got to make it sting more for Villanova. Like, Jay Wright he does want to retire and he's done, but like, I think Jay Wright hanging around the program and still living in the area and all that sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks. That is not like, I think in Jay Wright's mind, he's like, I'm going to soften the blow for Villanova people by always being around and like staying plugged in and I just don't want to coach anymore, but I don't want to give up on these fine people and I love them so much and I love the program, yada yada yada. Well, that fucking sucks, dude.
Yeah.
Just seeing Jay, you're like, Jay, you're not doing anything. Like, you call one basketball game like every week and a half. Like, what are you doing, dude? We need you. We need you right now.
That would be, that's Ryan Day has a bad year and Urban Meyer's just at every practice.
Yeah.
Or Sharon Moore's terrible and Jim Harbaugh's just there. Yeah. In the stands.
Yeah. But at least, Urban would be a different, Urban and Jim are like, for like Duke and Carolina, like Roy and Kay are both old. Like, they're hanging around the program, but they're both old, so it makes more sense. But Jay Wright he looks like he's in the prime of his life.
Tomorrow.
He's what? So you can't even do the like I'm tired excuse or whatever else. And I'm not telling Jay Wright he has to coach. I wouldn't want to. If I was him and I won 2 national titles and I did all there is to do, and there's a new era of college basketball, I'm just gonna take my money. I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna chill. But at least have some decency to like go live on a tropical island.
Yeah, have some respect.
Don't live down the street and be around the program every day. When this is going on and the sky's falling and
Neptune he's tournament or fired, right? And,
absolutely,
and it looks very.
And he's if he doesn't make the tournament, he's got to be. But also, I will say this: like he's tournament or fired in the sense that they should fire him. I'm not privy to how universities feel or like how quick they are to fire guys or how because more goes into it than just like you're not a good coach.
Yeah.
There's more that like Penny Hardaway is a good example. Penny Hardaway probably should have been fired 5 different times by now, but he's a legend at Memphis, and there's Juwan Howard is the same way at Michigan, where he's
a great example.
Strikes a man in the face, and if it was anybody other than a guy on the Fab Five, he's getting fired immediately. Right. But they're like, it's delicate.
That's not Kyle Neptune's status, though.
Kyle Neptune's not that at Villanova, but it's like if Jay Wright is going to bat for him like crazy.
3 years, but here's the thing.
I don't know.
That's why he survived 1 and 2. 3 years in, I think he's 36 and 34 at Villanova.
Yeah.
They're not okay with that.
No.
It's time to go.
Yeah. I would assume so, but we shall see. Certainly not the start you want on a hot seat season. Also honorable mention, IU Indy officially changed their name to from IUPUI. They were the first game of the Division I season. The the artist formerly known as IUPUI tipped off the entire Division I season. I was so excited that we had college basketball, and I locked in on the very first game, and then I saw it's IU Indy, and I was like, who the fuck is IU Indy? And then I remembered, it's IUPUI, and they dropped to Purdue, and I hate that. So the name change is officially taken hold.
Are they still the Jaguars? Is that?
I think so, yeah. But the name change is officially taken hold, and I don't like IUND. IUND doesn't.
Yeah.
IUPUI was so fun. Ooey Pooey.
Yeah.
It was so
That's
cool.
a great
Yeah,
acronym,
IUPUI. Not my. I'll just keep calling them IUPUI. Honestly,
Yeah.
IUND. I don't like. So that put them as an honorable mention. Tyreek Smith. Speaking of Memphis, a little bit earlier. Tyreek Smith transferring from Memphis 5 hours from the start of the season. The day of Memphis' first game, Tyreek Smith. The story is he goes into Penny Hardaway's office and was like, "I want more money." And Penny was like, "You average 5 points a game. What are you talking about?" So he is transferring. This will, if he goes to a new school, this will be his fifth school. He's
been in the portal 4 times.
4 times. 4 portals.
Is that a portal record?
I wonder what the record is. Yeah, it's got. I mean, he's got to be. Four
Yeah,
portals
he
is
went
like how
high school to college and then portal.
he just lives in the portal. He's just constantly in the portal. But Tyreek Smith, he gets an honorable mention, and then finally, pains me to do this, but my guy John Fanta gets a fraud power rankings honorable mention because he's going to be a father, and I just think we're living in a time, Tate, where John Rothstein's having kids and John Fanta's having kids, and I need my college basketball guys. I need to know that they're married to the game.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just don't want John Fanta to be distracted. John Fanta, family man. I said this earlier this season. I'm worried about John because he's making his Browns TikToks.
He is.
And I'm worried that by the end of the season, John Fanta is going to run out of gas. And now I'm finding out that he's going to be a father. And a divided John Fanta cannot stand, is what I'm saying. And I need John Fanta locked in on college basketball. And he's getting married, he's having kids, he's finding other interests, and I'm just worried that we're losing John Fanta.
And the due date is in May. Like, we're supposed to sleep in May.
We're supposed to sleep in
John
May.
Fanta's not sleeping in May.
So maybe I'm more concerned about the start of next season once his baby comes. But yeah, he hasn't for the record, John Fanta has not lost a step. Like he's still
awesome.
bringing the fucking heat. I'm just forecasting some distractions on the road. And you gotta.
I thought it meant. I will say I thought it meant a little bit more to Fanta. Congrats on the sex though.
I thought John Fanta was a Big East basketball guy. Now he's a family man. You can't have both. Pick a lane, John.
You a father?
Do you love your kid or do you love the fucking Madison Square Garden?
Is it basketball family?
Yeah.
Is it student athlete or athlete student? John Fanta.
Football, faith, and family. Like how they say. Like what is
what order?
What order? And what order? Basketball, faith, and family. What order are you putting those in, John?
Also, congrats, John.
But also congrats, and we love you, and I'm happy for John. And he did a double news dump, right? Like when he broke the news, he's doing shit for NBC, I think, right?
Yeah, he's calling games.
He's calling games
all
for
over
NBC.
the place.
But I think he did it on the same day. He did some personal news.
Incredible. Dad, mom, love.
Fantastic. He did here's some personal news and here's some business news and some professional news, and I love that. That's the John Fanta contains multitudes. He's like, if you're following me for personal news, I'm having a kid. If you're following me for professional news, I'm going to be calling games on NBC this year.
I need Fanta's son to be like the next Fanta, like a Bronny Bronson, like the first dad's son.
First dad's son.
That'd be awesome.
All right, those are your honorable mentions. Let's get into the actual fraud power rankings for Week 1 of college basketball. At number 5 on the fraud power rankings, the initial 2024-2025 fraud power rankings is the transfer portal, and I have alluded to this in the last couple weeks, and I'm officially putting the transfer portal on the fraud power rankings because I think I have seen enough after less than 1 week of basketball that the freshman class will in fact outshine the transfer portal pickups. Mm-hmm. And so far in this young, early, premature, too soon to overreact season, that has in fact been the case when you think about Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple. You think about the Dylan Harper, Lathan Somerville, nice surprise off the bench.
Derek Queen, that's his real name.
You think about Derek Queen, which is his real name. You think about Trey Johnson of Texas, who's kind of a chucker, but at the same time, 29 points in his debut. You think about Shit, Flory Badunga, Kansas kid. I said that was, he's not going to be better than Hunter Dickinson, but there'll be times where Kansas fans are like, is this the best lineup we have when Flory's out there? 6 for 6 in his debut for Kansas. Just runs the floor, dunks it, grabs rebounds. That's all he's asked to do. That's all he does, and he does it well. He went 6 for 6 in his debut, 13 points, 8 boards. Demeen, I don't know. BYU's kid, Igor Demeen, and Cannon Catchings, both of them. The two freshmen they got at BYU, they were awesome. Will Riley was awesome at Illinois in his debut. Boogie Flan, who we talked about, probably not going to be able to shoot the ball much, but can get to the rim at will, has long arms, is going to be a defensive menace for Arkansas. Our guy John Mobley, these are just the ones that I am aware of. So there's probably...
And it's been 4 days.
Yeah. McNeely was good too, right?
He was
for
good.
UConn. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said earlier, it's not even the freshmen at the top of the class. It's the freshmen that are the mid-tier guys, or the freshmen that are like supposedly the second or the third best on their own team. They're not even the best freshmen on their own team, and they're playing well. And we're 1 game into the season, so those are the guys that are standing out to me. Meanwhile, your top transfers, now John L. Davis, I think, was considered a big pickup. He had a decent game against Lipscomb. He was all right. Kadary Richmond is awesome. I think he was, for St. John's, he was some people may disagree, but I feel like in the offseason that was like the top transfer pickup, was getting Kadary Richmond to transfer to St. John's. He was awesome for St. John's. Umar Bala was one of the top transfers. He was just okay. Like I said earlier, like you look at the box score, he didn't have a bad game. He wasn't, at no point was I watching him and I was like, he sucks, but at the same time, like, it's a weird fit. Cannon Carlisle, who was a big pickup for Indiana as well. Like it was Miles Rice, Cannon Carlisle, Umar Bala. Those are the 3 big transfers for Indiana. Carlisle stunk for Indiana.
I mean, Baylor, I know they got Edgecombe as a freshman, but they lived in the transfer portal, and then they got their
dicks kicked in for sure. Omier and Norchad Omier, Jeremy Roach. AJ Storr wasn't good for Kansas, by the way. AJ Storr was a massive pickup. Was supposed to be. Played 15 minutes, scored 5 points off the bench. Not that great.
7-figure NIL deal.
7 figures, yeah.
5 points.
Coleman Hawkins, by the way, the $2 million man. What
did they say?
Wasn't it $2 million?
It was $2 million.
It was reported as $2 million. 2 for 9, 5 points for Kansas State.
$1 million per made basket.
Yeah, that's right. $1 million per field goal. Aiden Mahaney, big pickup for UConn, scoreless for UConn. Now I'm not hitting the panic button on all these guys. I'm just saying, 1 game into the season,
fraud watch
across the country. One thing I'm noticing is that the freshmen are, in fact, at least for me, I am noticing way more freshmen than I am transfer pickups.
Yeah.
That's not to say every transfer stinks, and it's not to say every freshman is awesome, because there have been freshmen that have played poorly, and there have been transfers that are balling out and are just as good as we expect them to be. But on a macro level, I think my take that the freshmen are going to be better than the transfers from this past season, obviously, is so far proven to be true.
Very much true. I don't think you're, like you said, out on the people that have transferred and getting players from the portal, but the freshmen have been so great that that's where you want to spend your time.
Also, deep cut transfer DJ Davis, who transferred to Washington, played at Butler last year, was one of the best shooters in the country, shot like 96% from the free throw line, never missed free throws, was an incredible deep he was like Junie Mobley, basically. He was that
sniper
for Butler last year, just an absolute fucking sniper. Debut for Washington. He transfers to Washington, who's not expected to be good at all. They have great Osabor, who's exactly what his name says, but Washington is not a very good basketball team, so he's going to be irrelevant. But I noticed DJ Davis went 0 for 5.
0 for 8 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3.
0 for 5 from 3.
Cash at the free throw line.
Yeah.
2 of 2.
Was he 2 for 2?
Yeah. He made 57 of 58 free throws in the conference last year.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, he was incredible. Yeah, I mean, I was watching a lot of Butler for Thad and the boys, and I was like, man, this guy's an awesome shooter. And then I knew he was transferring to Washington, so then I checked in on him, and he was 0 for 5. So there you go.
Going East Coast to West Coast.
Yeah, he's still all these months later, he's trying to get his legs under him. So yeah, number 5 is the transfer portal. All the talk of college basketball. That's the way you build a winner in the modern college basketball era. But maybe not. Maybe it's recruiting. Maybe the freshmen are maybe the kids are all right after all. Maybe you need to go after the freshmen instead of the transfers. Number 4 on the fraud power rankings, the state of Texas. Opening week of college basketball. only 3 ranked teams lost. There were 3 ranked teams. Now, one of them was Baylor, who lost to Gonzaga, who lost to a higher ranked team on the road. I don't in a game that they were not favored in, so I don't think that's.
But they did get killed.
But they did get
They
killed.
did, like, you're using the word loss.
But they did get killed. So Baylor loses by almost 40 to Gonzaga. VJ Edgecombe puts lipstick on the pig by shitting all over Joe Few, which, kind of helped with the PR a little bit.
Very much.
A little bit, where you come out of the game, people weren't watching, it was too late. Maybe people were more locked in on that dunk than the fact that Baylor, again, got their dicks kicked in by Gonzaga. But elsewhere, the University of Texas does not lead at any point in time against our Buckeyes. But not only that, not only does Ohio State go wire to wire, but Texas just looks poorly coached to me. Trey Johnson has all the talent in the world, but they're going to have to rein him in a little bit. He's a little bit of a chucker. Kaluma is a little aloof out there. I don't know. I don't know the word to describe Arthur Kaluma. Erratic, aloof. He's talented, but it's also kind of all over the place, and he's gonna shoot Texas in the foot just as often as he helps them.
And Traymon Mark's now out indefinitely.
Indefinitely. Yeah.
That's bad news.
And that is bad news. But Texas, I'm going to keep my eye on Texas because because I'm selfish and I need that to be a good win for Ohio State. But I'm curious how they do have a lot of talent, but I don't know how well coached they are. And watching them chuck up mid-range shots after just a ton of mid-range shots and a ton of early mid-range shots. That was crazy to me. Early in the shot clock, they're just taking dumb shots.
And that comes down to, does your coach allow it, promote it?
Yeah.
That's bad.
So I'm curious to see what Texas becomes. But yeah, Texas gets upset by Ohio State, and then finally Texas A&M upset at UCF. Gets the court stormed on night one of college basketball. The state of Texas, the only three ranked teams have lost. They're all from the state of Texas. Now, if you're a Houston fan, you're like, that's them, dude. That's not us. What about us? Like, we're holding it down. Yeah, but it's not all Texas teams. But I will say, only 3 ranked teams have lost. They're all from Texas. That's why it's number 4. They're number 4 on my fraud power rankings. At number 3 on the fraud power rankings, Todd Golden, head coach of the University of Florida. And here's why, Tate. There's a kid on Florida's roster who stands 7'9". Now, he's not good yet. I think there's promise, there's hope. He doesn't move as poorly as you might expect a 7'9" man to move, but at the same time, he's not exactly fluid out there. His name is Olivier Vu. I think he's a French.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Olivier Vu.
Yeah, well said.
Olivier. I don't do French. But yeah, he's a Canadian kid, 7'9". All the clips of him practicing and playing and all that went viral a month or two ago. He's all the talk of the University of Florida. But you ask like you pull anybody off the street, like, tell me something about the current iteration of the University of Florida basketball team. They're gonna say, I don't know much, but I saw this video of the 7'9" guy dunking without jumping and just looking like a fucking freak out there, and like he's standing in a layup line and like how tall was the guy that high-fived? Remember that video? And everyone's like, the guy high-fiving him has to jump up to high-five him is 6'10" or something. Right. He's all the talk of Florida. We're 2 games into Florida's played twice now.
Yeah, 2-0.
He's played has played 0 minutes. Yeah. Has not seen the floor. You got to get him out there, and you throw him out there just for
propaganda purposes.
Yes. Yes, just to get the clips stirring, just for PR. Like in the blow, give him 1 minute, and at the end of these blowouts, I just want to see what it looks like.
Yeah. Well,
I
hate to devil's advocate here. Does a need to be on the fraud watch? Because if you're 7'9" and you're getting 0 minutes, I don't want to attack the kids here.
That's true. Yeah.
But.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's got to earn it. Yeah, 7'9".
If you're 7'9" and you can't get a minute on a 2-0 team, you just won by 21 against Jacksonville.
Yeah, there must be something going on. Yeah. Maybe he's hurt.
Too tall.
Olivier. I went to I went to Paris for the first time in my life, and
is this where you learned how to talk?
Yeah,
like
so I learned. I noticed that all the French guys, they're like trying to kiss you as they talk to you. They're just like. And they're just like pursing their lips, and yeah, I don't know. That was one takeaway I had. Also, they don't wear deodorant, and they smoke a lot of cigarettes. Number 2 on the fraud power rankings, The SEC, the number one conference on Ken Pomeroy's KenPom.com, the number one conference on my brain, the number one conference. We talked about it in the lead up to the season that maybe they don't have a ton of national title contenders, but I think the depth is at the top. I think the 11th best team in the SEC is probably better than the 11th best team in any other conference.
Right.
And Kenneth Pomeroy himself believes that to be true. A lot of people believe that to be true, and yet the start of the SEC season, we have seen Texas lose. We have seen Texas A&M lose, which we've already covered. I'm going to throw Todd Golden in there, even though Todd Golden has won both of his games. He's not playing Missouri lost to Memphis, which is not a stunning upset, but it underscores the fact that Missouri has lost 20 straight games, Tate. Missouri has literally not won a basketball game in the year 2024, and we are in November. And the entire calendar year 2024, Missouri basketball has won 0 games, 0 of any kind.
That's bad.
I mean, like they have not won a single. I can't stress it enough. There's no qualifiers. This is not like they've won 0 games against top ranked teams.
The qualifier is games played.
Games played. In a game of any kind. They have not won any of them. The University of Missouri has literally not won a game in 2024. They have lost 20 straight games. Also, South Carolina lost a bye game to North Florida, which, as John Rothstein points out, is in fact the epitome of brutality. Meanwhile, the Big Ten and ACC undefeated. Undefeated. So the SEC is number 2. Is Missouri? I was thinking about this. Missouri, Kansas is a rivalry in college basketball. It's a rivalry. They'll tell you in the real world. They'll tell you that this. I think they are a war rivalry. I think in the same way Ohio State, Michigan is like, to drive home how big of a rivalry is. People point to the Toledo War and they're like, no, these two states actually fucking fought each other. I think they do that with Kansas, Missouri, where they're like, this was slave state versus not slave state back in the Civil War days, dude. This is just ingrained in our DNA. Fucking Kansas versus Missouri, dude. We hate each other. Is there a more one-sided rivalry that the hatred is there, but oh my God, the programs cannot be more polar opposites than Kansas basketball and Missouri basketball?
The fact that Kansas is preseason number 1 and has this war chest of bringing in NIL players and top recruits are committing there, and then Missouri hasn't won a game in 100 years. That is
Kansas has
a rivalry.
Kansas has won more national championships in the last 3 years than Missouri has made Final Fours in their program's history. Kansas, yeah. There's a million ways you could show how lopsided the whole thing is, and I don't know. I find that is there anything in the world of sports? Is there anything that comes close to this? There are rivalries that are technically rivalries there are one-sided rivalries, but the team that wins all the time at some point stops caring about the rivalry. And I feel like Kansas will maybe I'm misspeaking, but I feel like Kansas fans will tell you that Missouri is still their top rival. And it's hilarious to me because, like, you got to find another rival at this point. Like, make it.
I will say they've only lost 4 in a row.
Missouri?
So Missouri's only lost 4 in a row, but
I'm talking like historically in the program. Go to stack up Missouri basketball accolades versus Kansas basketball accolades.
The border war.
It's crazy. Yeah, Missouri will beat them from time to time. The Louisville-Kentucky rivalry, which I point out often, is very one-sided, but Louisville wins national championship.
Yeah, that's way
Louisville is So at least like Louisville loses to Kentucky all the time when they play, but then as the season progresses, Louisville will actually like win trophies. Missouri
just doesn't. But Missouri they'll always hang their hat on 1907. First time they ever played, 34-31 victory.
Oh, no shit.
Take that, Kansas.
No shit.
What have you done for me lately?
Well, the funny thing about Kansas is James Naismith is the only he's the worst coach in their program's history. I know that, but I think he might be the only. I think he had a losing record at Kansas. I think that's the note.
Really?
James Naismith coached basketball at Kansas and had a losing.
You
record.
can't invent the game and be.
Yeah.
Huh.
If you're losing, just like add new rules.
Change the game. Yeah. Actually,
it's
whoever scores less points.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you, it's golf rules.
And now I'm the best coach in Kansas history.
Forgot to tell you, this is Cody, look that up. Fact check that. We fucked up the fact on the last show, didn't we, with the Dairy Queen thing? What do you want to set the record straight on that one? What did we fuck up?
I will say, did I fuck it up? Yes, I did. The last time someone went 20-20 as a freshman, but also Cody confirmed.
You said the last time a 2020 a freshman had 2020 was Beasley.
Was Beasley in 07.
But
that was reported.
I fucked up the fuck up.
But I fucked up. What we both did was we just read the dude
up more than me though.
I also just read the report. Like, you can't put that in a news article and put that on Twitter and then be like,
what was it was a debut. It wasn't a game of any
college
kind.
freshman debut.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go. We set the record straight. So look up now, because I want to make sure we don't fuck this up. The James Naismith. It's just one of those things you hear and then rattles around in your brain forever, and then maybe I got it wrong. But look up.
Here you go.
James Naismith did in fact have a losing record.
55-60 is the only coach in Kansas history to have a losing record.
There we go. All right. Good job, me. Got it right. Number 1 on the Fraud Power Rankings.
I'm excited.
The Dunk, or whatever the fuck they call it, Providence. Have you seen this story with the Duck? The Providence student section.
Talk to me.
Okay. So, first of all, Providence used to play in an arena called the Dunk.
Right.
It was the Dunkin' Donuts Center or arena or Dunkin' whatever. Great name for a basketball arena, the Dunk. Everyone called it the Dunk. They're like, this is fucking. And Dunkin' Donuts is huge in the New England area. It all made sense. Dunkin' Donuts doesn't sponsor the arena anymore. They call it the Amp now. Doesn't sound it doesn't work for me. I still want to call it the Dunk. It just like sounds cooler for the broadcasters to be like, "Welcome to the Dunk. Welcome into the Dunk." I loved it. They changed the name. So first of all, I've always kind of had an eye on the Amp or what's going on in the Providence basketball world. Is like that arena specifically. I'm like, feels a little fraudulent. You had something good going. You changed the name. I don't love that. Mm-hmm. Night 1, first game in the Dunk. Some guy brings his pet duck. He registered it. He says he registered it as a service animal, brought it to the basketball game. Providence is in a close one with Central Connecticut. Central Connecticut State is not a good basketball team. Providence is they're losing the game. They're in a way closer game against Central Connecticut State than they bargained for. At one point, the guy who brought the duck brings the duck to the student section. The students are like holding up the duck. They're anointing the duck. They're saying the duck is our new god. We worship this duck. Providence goes on to win the game. The talk after the game is not about how Providence almost blew it against Central Connecticut.
Right.
The talk is about, I think we just found our new mascot for the season.
A lucky duck.
This is the lucky duck.
Right.
It literally is the lucky duck. Almost immediately, the powers that be at Providence said a mistake was made. That duck is not welcome back ever again. We're done with this duck. Get this duck out of my fucking face. If I ever see it again, I'm going to shoot it in the head. I think that's the direct quote.
Duck hunting.
I think that was the direct quote. If I see this duck again, I will shoot it in the head. No, the guy, the powers that be at Providence said no more duck. And he said the guy lied to the security when he brought it in. He said it was a service animal. He needed it. Somewhere along the line, security fucked up. They should have reached out to a supervisor, asked, can we actually bring this duck in? This guy did not want to help the team. He just wanted to get on television. This is what the I forget the fucking the suit. The Providence suit.
Right.
That was speaking on behalf of the university. The guy just wanted to get on television. We are not going to be party to this. To this trick to get on TV, this publicity stunt.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna allow that. No more duck. We're done with the duck. And I think that you have now just cursed your basketball team for the rest. I think you've cursed the basketball team.
So you
have a lucky duck, and you now are. It's a fucking duck, dude. This isn't. He didn't bring in his pet hippopotamus. Like, you don't have to.
He didn't bring in his pet dog either.
Yeah.
No, the dog.
Whoa.
Hippopotamus.
Dog. Duck. Like the duck was you could stuff the duck under your coat. It's not taking up any room.
At what line in the animal hierarchy do you cross the line of can't bring it in as the lucky Providence?
The duck doesn't attack anybody.
Okay.
The ducks don't shit, do they? I've never seen a duck shit. I've only seen geese shit. Ducks don't shit. They don't poop.
I think your best.
They don't piss or poop, dude.
You're starting to sell me, and it rhymes with lucky.
And it's lucky duck.
The
dude.
problem,
And it never mind rhyming. There's proof of concept.
Yeah.
It like literally,
There are lucky
it literally
ducks.
won the game for them.
Huh.
I don't know. I'll just say this: if that happened at Ohio State, I would be making phone calls. I would personally be making phone calls.
That'll get you marching.
And I would be like, we can't let this happen.
At this point, I think what they decided was they either need to embrace this duck and like now this duck is going to be the hero of our university, or we're shutting it down right now. You're saying you'd rather have it be the cult hero?
Be the cult hero, dude. Also, in college sports, I mean, there's live mascots everywhere. How is
True.
How is Texas football bringing a fucking Longhorn onto the field?
There's a fucking tiger at LSU this weekend. A tiger.
The LSU brings tigers. Buffalo, Colorado brings a fucking they let the buffalo stampede onto the field. Like, what are we doing? It's a duck. It's a duck.
You've talked me into.
We can have a duck.
I retract my stance.
Duck in a basketball arena. I don't know. I thought it was a hasty decision. I'll just put it that. Like you also didn't even need to ban him. You could have just said let's just see what happens. And then you know what could have happened if you're one of the suits that don't want the duck there. Just let it play out naturally. Let the guy keep bringing the duck. When there's an incident, you can blame it on the duck and the guy. And then when the duck, like, you know, shits on the floor or something, be like, we can't have that. Listen, man, you understand. Like, we love the duck too, but like we can't have your duck pissing all over.
And then everyone agrees with it.
And then everyone agrees. But there's been no incident. In fact, the opposite. He was helping things, and you said no more duck. Also, I saw someone tweeted facts about the duck. The duck is named Dawn. It is a male duck, but the guy who owns the duck did not, because you can't, like, ducks don't have like flopping around dicks. Like you can't just like pick up a duck and look between its legs and tell what it is.
How do you know if it's a male?
You have to. I believe the act of figuring out what the duck is called sexing the duck, which is confusing because if I tell you that I was sexing my duck, you would think that.
We might need to change that. That verbiage.
I think it's called sexing. Yeah, you have to sex the duck.
And you listen to its voice.
Is that how they do it?
The most accurate way to determine the sex of a duck is by listening to its voice.
So yeah, they sexed the duck. They found out it was a dude, but the guy had already named it Dawn, so he was like, I guess I'm just gonna roll with it.
It's 2024.
Dawn is having a children's book written called "How Dawn Found His Quack." That was a bullet point that I saw.
Now I'm starting to think that the guy might have just been.
Dawn has a lawyer, a manager, and a security. Well,
okay, I'm back out on the duck.
Of course he did it for attention, but it worked. It worked. Anyway, that's
I like
the
that
duck. I want the duck to be back, and unfortunately, it seems like the duck is gone.
If they make a big enough stink, duck might be back.
Yeah, if the
squeaky wheel gets.
I hate to say this, and Providence fans, I certainly do not want your wrath, directed towards me. I'm on your side in all this, so don't take this the wrong way. But I kind of want Providence to lose their next game.
Yeah.
I kind of want them to lose the Ducks got to be back. I kind of want them. They got to learn a lesson.
Is it like one of the if the team drops the next one, it's like take a step back and then we get to take a huge step forward situation?
Yes, I think so. Quick break to talk about our friends at Jack Black. Jack Black just came out with 4 new scents of their #1 deodorant, Pit Boss. Their deodorant is the best at controlling odor and wetness no matter what I'm doing, and now I can have my cleanser, lotion, and antiperspirant, all of my favorite scent, which is a total game changer. Jack Black's original Pit Boss deodorant is the top seller, and now you can get the same reliable odor and wetness protection in 4 new masculine scents. Big Sur offers a refreshing aroma that mixes marine, accord, and amber. Blue Midnight features adventurous notes of black pepper and lavender. Jack Zen presents a grounding blend of bamboo and violet. All of them smell wonderful. They send us some samples. I was using, as I've said many times when we talk about Jack Black, I've been using Jack Black for all sorts of stuff in my life, and finally I've just committed to the whole line. I've just committed to everything Jack Black, but Jack Black makes unbelievable products. It was founded over 20 years ago with the goal of offering men's body care products that were just as effective as women's body care products. Those of you in relationships probably do this, where you use your girlfriend, your wife's products, whatever. You steal her shampoo, her whatever else because it smells nice. It gets the Stop doing that. There are products for men that can get the job done. They are Jack Black. They are awesome. They smell great. They are high quality. Their commitment to superior skincare has made Jack Black, according to Circana, the #1 body care brand by total dollar sales. If you want simple, effective products that do what they say they're going to do, you need Jack Black. Stop using your girlfriend or wife stuff. Go to getjackblack.com/Titus. Use code Titus, TITUS, for 10% off your order and free shipping. Once again, that's getjackblack.com/Titus for 10% off your order plus free shipping. And make sure you use my promo code Titus so they know I sent you. One more thing before we get out of here. I want to do the cross-off thing. I said we're going to do it at the top. So there are 364 teams. Maybe we can make this a thing throughout the season. I guess we'd have to, right? That's the whole point of doing it. It'd be weird to like cross off fucking Grambling State and then just be like, all right, we're done.
And the rest can win it.
But so you print off literally every team.
Yep.
What do I? Because like I said earlier, I think my instinct is I as I'm looking at this, I want to cross off like at least 300 teams.
That's why you can't do that. That's the thing. Rule number 1 of the list, and this is national title contenders.
Yes, that's all we care about. I don't care about Final Four. I don't care about national runner-up. I don't care. There might be a team that could pull a Butler and get there. Right. They're not going to win it. You might have crossed them off in January, and then you'd be right. The number 1 rule, first of all, is once you cross off a team, they are off the list. You can't uncross them. Okay.
So there is no whiteout allowed.
Okay.
Number 2, you must have a reason. Because that's the thing. Right now, could we cross off 320 teams? Probably. But I need you to tell me why a team is off the list.
Okay. Because my instinct, I don't want to do a mass cross off of like hundreds of teams. But at the same time, who are we kidding? I do want to cross off the entire MEAC and the entire SWAC and the entire Northeast Conference.
And the reasoning is because they're in the MEAC.
They're in the MEAC, the SWAC. They have no resources. They have no talent. No, there's just no way if any of those schools win literally one NCAA tournament game, it is news. And they have to win 6. They'll probably have to win 7. Right. Every school in those conference would have to win 7 probably because they'll have to win a play-in game. They'll be a 16 seed. And they'll play in to then play a 1 seed to the like. There's just no chance whatsoever that any of those schools. So I want to do the entire MEAC, the entire SWAC, the entire Northeast Conference, and Villanova. I think that's what I want to do.
So here's the one thing I'll add though.
I haven't done anything yet, but that's where my mind's at.
It is. I'm not asking you to jump off a bridge if you're wrong. There has to be some skin in the game of if a team wins the national championship that you crossed off. Yeah, there has to be something retribution wise. And that could be come back next week if you need to.
I will do this if a team. I'll say this right now. If a team that I cross off goes on to win the national championship, I will go to that campus. I will allow the students, the fans, maybe the players, maybe the coaches. I will allow them to literally tar and feather me. I will allow them to.
That's all we needed, Cody.
I will allow them to cover me in tar and feathers, and if they want, I don't know, I'll leave it up to them. They could parade me through the streets and ring a bell and as I'm walking and say shame or whatever else. Tar and feather. You can tar and feather.
So I thought you were going to go tomatoes, but
tomatoes
way better.
When's the last tar and feathering that's happened in this country? Without like awesome. Being a joke. It was like an actual punishment. It's like I'm sentencing you to a tar and feathering. We need to bring that back.
Wow. Oh, you're talking America?
America,
because in 2007 we had a tar and feathering in Northern Ireland.
Oh, no shit.
That's kind of cool.
That's a good punishment, dude. No one wants to get tar and feathered. No one wants
1776.
It was popularized. Yeah, in 1767 was when we started tar and feathering.
Ooh. What's the past tense of tarring someone?
Tarred. Oh,
come on, man. Come on, man.
Cody, cut that.
Come on, man.
Nah,
okay, no. So this is officially the Mark Titus National Championship contender tar and feather list.
Yeah. I will allow myself to be tarred. I will allow myself to be tarred and.
All right, so we're crossing off, and I'll do this for you after, but we're going MEAC.
I think we can. Well, I also don't want to. This has to be a season long thing, so I don't want to cross everybody off and then go a month and a half where I don't cross anyone off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I don't want to bite off.
Why don't we
too much? So let's just do the whole MEAC, which is Howard. It's Norfolk State. It's North Carolina Central. It's South Carolina State. It's Morgan State. It's Delaware State. It's Maryland Eastern Shore, and it's Coppin State.
Crossing them off.
Cross all of them off.
Can I add a solo team that you? Can I give you my pitch?
By the way, the only team on there that like has any chance to me would be Howard. That's the closest I would feel towards like or Norfolk maybe. They're not going to win they're just obviously not going to win the national championship. They might win. Like, what are we doing? They might win one. If they win literally one NCAA tournament game, it becomes news. They're not going to win 2.
No way they win 2.
And if they win, they have to win 7 or 6. They have to win at least 6. No, get them out of here.
It's a
They're out.
feather. Here's my one for you. And again, you make these decisions. I follow this team closely because I actually went to this school. Idaho State.
Okay.
I got a little. Do you remember when Duke beat Arizona State by 1,000 points in their exhibition earlier?
Yes.
Arizona State then beat Idaho
Beat
State.
Idaho State. So that's why you want to.
I don't. From what I've seen,
You want in on this? Are you trying to add Idaho State to the cross-off? Is this a team effort? Are you willing to be tarred?
I don't.
I mean, more tarred
your
than
call.
you already are?
I don't want to jump into your thing. But if you want,
that's what I'm asking. Are you willing to be
if we
more
have,
tarred?
if there's no taxation without representation.
Okay.
So if I am jumping in the tar and feather, I also want to have.
We can make it a
ability-
team. I mean,
All right,
you're
all
the
right,
cross-off
all
guy.
right.
You're the one who introduced crossing off.
All right, book it. I'm in.
Okay, all right. So we'll both be tarred and feathered.
They can tar you and they can feather me.
I think you're the tarred guy. I'll be the feather guy. I'll be the feathered guy. I'll be feathered. You be tarred.
They get to pour hot black tar all over my body, and then they get to throw feathers at Titus.
That seems.
It's a team effort.
All right. All right.
All right, then I want Idaho State off.
You cross Idaho State off. I'll allow it.
0-2.
I'll allow it. That makes sense.
All right,
That's a good reason.
So we'll start with show 1, the MEAC and Idaho State.
Can we do the SWAC in the Northeastern Conference?
Do you
too?
want to do that?
I just don't want to.
SWAC and Northeastern. All right.
Texas Southern. Just for the record, Texas Southern. The SWAC is Texas Southern, Grambling, Southern, which are 2 different schools. Grambling State, Southern, Alabama State, Bethune, Cookman, Jackson State. I don't know why I'm not even doing my fingers right. I'm just like
You just
things.
as you
I'm
speak.
saying things and then like not even. Alabama A&M, Alcorn State, Prairie View A&M, Florida A&M, Arkansas Pine Bluff, and Mississippi Valley State. And the Northeast Conference is Central Connecticut State. It's Providence. Wagner, who allowed a 20-0 run, and that's the Liam Blutman one, which I think maybe Liam Blutman should have to be tarred and feathered as well.
If Wagner wins, Liam Blutman's tarred and feathered.
Chicago State, Lemoyne, Mercyhurst, St. Francis, Fairleigh Dickinson, LIU, and Stonehill. None of those schools are winning the national championship. So we'll start.
Mercyhurst can't win because it's their first year, Mark. So that's a good reason. Also, Duke's. I just cross them.
You're
off.
Duke?
Put him on the tar and feather.
So Duke
if
wins
Duke
the
Duke cannot win.
If Duke wins the national
Will not
championship,
win.
Cody is what? Tarred and feathered?
Sure.
Yep. Shout out Dukes. I love Dukes. Dukes, I need a 352 team graphic with the MEAC, SWAC, Northeastern, and Idaho State crossed off.
Cross all of them off. Yeah.
Like these teams. Breaking news.
Do you want to get crazy on the very first one and just pick a team that like has like
A good chance.
like plus like 15,000 odd? Like it doesn't have to be crazy, but
All right.
it doesn't have to be someone who's got like a
I'm pulling it up.
like a Wisconsin or something. They're obviously not. They're not going to win.
Put Providence
Or
on
put
because of the Duck.
Yeah, should we put Providence for the Duck? No, I don't want Providence fans to be too mad at me.
Yeah,
'cause
they're gonna be so
I want them to know that I'm on their side with this Duck thing. So I don't want them to take this the wrong way.
To the right. Like I personally, Mark, between you and I don't want to be tarred and feathered. So I'm like trying to think of the sweet spot.
You could do South Carolina losing to North Florida.
Like, is Michigan going to win a?
Michigan. I'm not picking.
Throwing them on the
I'm
tarred
not
and
throwing
feathered.
Michigan on the list yet, dude. Not yet.
Throw a team. You got to throw one team on there.
One power.
Yeah,
I'll do a power conference team.
Throw Washington.
Oh my god, dude. Washington. Should I do?
Arizona State.
I want to do a team that's already. I want to do a team that's won.
Oh.
Because like I don't want to do South Carolina. That seems too.
USC.
Fuck. No, dude, no. This is crazy. Out of the already.
You go from hey,
There's
I want
too
to make a
much.
splash
There's
on show 1, and you're like USC. USC is going to come in 50.
There's too much unknown with USC. I will say. I'm trying to think of what's the funniest on the graphic too.
Right.
That's what I like. Washington doesn't hit really. Fuck it, Missouri. That's funny. That's a funny graphic. it's the MEAC, the SWAC, the Northeast Conference, and Missouri.
All right,
and
dudes, get on it.
I want all of those schools.
Breaking news from the desk of Mark Titus.
Because Missouri's
cannot win.
I don't think Missouri's that bad. They have lost 20 in a row. I don't think they're that bad.
They have the same odds as Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Memphis.
Yeah. But that's fun. That's funny. And honestly, I think that I know enough Missouri people that
we could get some cool tar.
Yeah, if I have to get tarred and feathered, it would be fun and funny. So
they'd probably botch the Missouri.
That's true.
They'll probably mess it up.
They're gonna win in the national championship, dude.
That's
the national championship. I hope not. All right.
All right.
Before we go, some shout outs. Ryan Kalkbrenner had 49 points against Texas Rio Grande. 20 for 22 from the field. Even hit 2 threes, 2 for 2 from 3, 11 boards. Just kind of Kalkbrenner. I had Dukes made us put together our top 10 players list. I had him, I think 10th or something. I don't know. I respect the hell out of him. I think he's an awesome player. I think he's one of the best players in the country. I still was stunned by this. I was stunned that Ryan Kalkbrenner had 49 points. And
they didn't win.
It's awesome. Yeah, they kind of needed.
I don't know if that was good or bad.
They needed a lot of them. Great game from him. And I'm excited to see. Obviously, he's not going to average 49 a game, but I'm excited to see him continue to put up big numbers this year. Cam Jones versus Stony Brook, Marquette, 32 points, 14 for 16 shooting. 14 for 16 from a guard is
that's
crazy. 4 for 6 from 3. Scored 32. He's going to be fucking awesome. Marquette fans are so pissed off that I didn't put him on the list. Which is fine. Like that was the first dose of like, oh yeah, we're back. I put out a list, and then Marquette fans lost their minds.
You don't
and I was
know
like,
ball,
oh, this is
yeah.
Feels good to be back. Josh Hubbard, Mississippi State, 26 points on 10 of 13 shooting. Went 6 for 7 from three against a very good West Georgia team. One of the best West Georgia teams I think we've seen in recent years.
I had them on my cross-off.
Oh, cross-off.
If I had to cross off someone, the next team was West Georgia.
Alex Caravan, who I put on the list, and a lot of Big East people were like, Caravan's not that dude. 20 points, 7 assists, 6 boards, 7 block shots, Tate. 7 block shots from Alex Caravan. Mount Monster game from him. I feel like I'm just doing like a John Gruden thing right now where I'm just like reading box scores.
Stat lines.
Yeah. Mbako, I already mentioned, career high 31 points, carried Indiana's offense in the first half. And then Miles Kelly of Auburn. I see you. I speak your name, dude. 7 for 9 from 3 off the bench against Vermont. That was a pleasant surprise. So is the ball being juiced around the country? It feels like it might be, dude. A lot of guys a lot of offense, a lot of guys making shots out of the gate, which is exciting. Other shout outs, Bill Walton's birthday was Tuesday. I got really sad when Dave Pash reminded me of that. Maui Invitational is coming up in a couple weeks. I'm going. I'm officially going. I'm confirmed going to Maui, and I'm gonna try not to be sad about Bill Walton not being there. But I fucking love Bill Walton, and that's really all I have to say about that. In the words of Forrest Gump. NBA stuff.
Cavs Warriors tonight.
Cavs Warriors tonight.
I mean, this is
Warriors are sneaky good, which is crazy to say about the team that's like defined this era of basketball.
Yeah, you're going to want to keep an eye on Steph Curry.
But at the same time, I think I had just kind of been like, yeah, it's over. And then Clay, goes to the Mavs, and you're like, all right, well, that was a fun run the Warriors had. And then now they're going into Boston and winning. They're playing the Cavs now.
We got
tonight?
Yes. So we got Monday. What we'll be rehashing, we got Cavs Warriors, we have Kansas, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. We have Saturday's slate is incredible. Tennessee, Louisville, Auburn, Houston, Baylor, Arkansas.
Baylor, Arkansas is a big-time fraud watch game.
Yeah, that you might.
I need a big bounce back from Baylor, and I need Arkansas to make shots.
Who do you need to see more from? Like
Baylor has to win. Baylor has to win. That's a must-win for Baylor. For fraud reasons.
So Cal's allowed to lose.
If Baylor loses, I might cross them. I'm going to go from too scared to like immediately the second a team loses a game, I'm just like cross them off the list.
I'm going to give you one piece of advice, Titus, as we leave. As someone who made the punishment list in the Ohio State football bet, don't put yourself in a situation where you're watching a game with a huge pit in your stomach and you're like, wait, am I going to really have to fucking go be a Joe Paterno statue for 24 hours?
Yeah.
Am I going to have to get a birthmark on
Yeah, we
face?
got the birthmark game coming up.
Yeah, so just
Uh-oh.
I wouldn't cross Baylor off just yet.
I won't.
Okay.
I won't. Yeah, tonight Carolina at Kansas.
Awesome.
I'm worried about Carolina. I just have like I have that uneasy feeling about Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This is a massive game for them because I think it's far more likely that Carolina loses by 30 than
wins the game. Really?
Yeah. And I would love to be wrong. You know me. You know me. I'm not a guy that likes to be right all the time. I like being surprised, but that's where my head is at going into.
Part of me thinks where your head is at is you're now not high on Carolina because you don't want to be high on Kansas.
I would love
you just put it in the universe that
I was high on both these teams, but Carolina, watching them against Elon and watching them just revert back to like RJ Davis, please save us, and the big guys like Armando Bacot, who I never really loved for them. I never was really like a huge Armando Bacot guy in the sense that like I didn't actually think he was one of the 5 best players in the country or whatever else, whatever all the accolades he got. But they miss him. They miss him. They miss him big time. And they're playing a team that has a pretty good big man in Hunter Dickinson, and they got a pretty good big man off the bench in Floyd Badunga. And I'm just curious how it's all going to shake out. Jalen Washington is I said this last time I talked about it. Carolina's big man is from Indiana. Floyd Badunga from Indiana. So really, this is kind of a Hoosier State game. New Mexico at UCLA tonight is a sneaky one, by the way. Tempo game. UCLA likes to slow it down. New Mexico wants to get up and go. Keep an eye on that one. Last thing, though, you mentioned Tennessee, Louisville. Mm-hmm. Did you see the video of Pat Kelsey walking around campus? I didn't love this, I will say. Pat Kelsey has won me over in the sense that he's like a psychopath and loves the game of ball and is, I'm buying what he's selling in terms of Louisville being back, and I think that Louisville's going to be relevant all year. And I think that if you want to argue that Louisville's could end up being the 3rd best team in the ACC, I will listen to that argument, and I might even nod along at times. But Pat Kelsey walking around Louisville's campus, yelling at the students, we have a game on Saturday. Are you going to be there? And the students are awkwardly like, yeah, I'll be there. And he's like, now are you lying to me or are you really going to be there? Dude, that's not a Louisville basketball move.
Yeah. What kind of move is that? Is that like a hey, Ball State's got a
That's
good
like a
team
ball.
this
That's like
year?
a MAC move. Yeah. Yeah, that's like that's like you took over at Ball State and you're trying to get the students to understand how good you are. That's like Kurt Signetti doing that at IU. Like that would work. Because
Right.
like IU historically is not you literally are at a school where like people don't even pay attention to the football team at all, and you're trying to get them to pay attention.
This is cringy.
Louisville is one of the best basketball programs in the country. Now I know they've fallen on hard times recently, but like, come on, have some self-respect.
You know what?
You don't need to be walking around campus telling people we're playing Tennessee.
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. He's trying to revitalize a one.
No, I know what he's doing.
Right,
It's
but-
like you gotta understand where you're at now, Pat. You're not at Winthrop anymore. You don't need to be. Just win the ball games and the crowd's gonna come. I promise you that. You just
That
do
would
your
have been,
job, and
that would have been a great response from the students. Is Coach, you don't need to do. You win.
Coach, we're paying attention. Just go beat Tennessee. Like we'll be there. Beat Tennessee.
If you build it, we will come.
We will come. Yeah, that's a fact. All right, I think that's it. That was fun. We got our cross-off teams going. So how many do we officially cross off? Like
3 full conferences: Idaho State and Missouri.
in Missouri. It's a good start. All right,
And Duke from Cody. And Duke.
We're not doing Duke. You're not.
No, he crossed off. Duke.
But if you put that on my graphic, I swear to God, you're not crossing off Cooper and Con. You're not doing it. You're not doing it. I'll beat your ass, Cody. Cody, I will beat your ass.
You see Mercyhurst? You see Cody's Mercyhurst boys?
What?
He won this year.
They won.
Yeah.
No one saw it.
No
It was
stream.
not streamed
Wait,
or televised anywhere.
You're a Mercyhurst guy?
Yeah.
That's the Wilt Chamberlain game.
Wait, for real?
Yeah, Wilt Chamberlain, no one knows.
No, like I don't trust that Wilt scored 100 or that Mercyhurst won.
I don't trust that Mercyhurst exists. What's Mercyhurst?
They're new this year. That's how you knew the new this year rule.
Yeah.
Because it's
What kind of fake ass team is that? Mercyhurst?
Won.
The Lakers.
Pennsylvania, baby.
correct me if I'm wrong. They're the Lakers.
Yeah.
The Mercyhurst Lakers?
Yeah, we're D1.
That's
Laker rankings.
That's some creative team shit, dude. That's like a new college basketball video game came out, and
Yeah.
you're just like
Don't
randomizing words.
You got to change your colors.
Yeah.
You can't be green and white and be the Lakers.
You got. I
Go purple
know.
and yellow.
I know you got a clip art ass logo. I know you just got like
It's literally an M. It's literally a green.
I know you got some clip art shit
Yeah.
with your logo.
But yeah, Duke's out.
You don't have some sweet shit, do you? What are your
Duke
colors?
out.
What are your colors?
Right here.
Green, white.
It's like a forest green.
High school ass shit, dude. Lakers. Nah, I'll ride with Mercyhurst. Let's go.
My boy.
But you can't play this year. What?
We
Like
beat
you can't-
Morgan State. No, we got the 2-year ineligibility.
You got the 2-year shit. Yeah, that Merrimack had, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Cross them off.
There's a situation though in that conference, I believe, where there's 2 teams that it's their first year, and if they both make the conference championship, there'd be a third place game as an automatic qualifier.
I need that.
Let's leave Mercyhurst on the entire season and just to troll it. Like by the end of the year, we have like 21
Dude, they
teams,
could.
It's like
and Mercyhurst is one
Yeah,
of
it's
them,
like-
and everyone's just screaming in the comments like this team sucks and is not eligible. What are you
Kansas, Bama, Mercy.
Yeah. Put him back on.
doing? We just
Put him back on.
We just leave Mercyhurst the whole time. All right, enjoy the basketball this weekend. A lot of fun games, NBA, but college is a great slate as well. So we'll probably talk about that more so. But Cavs, Warriors. We'll see. Well, you'll know if the Cavs. If you don't follow the NBA, you'll know if the Cavs won based on whether or not Tate wants to bring it up on Monday.
Feels like 16.
All right, everybody. See ya.